The ruins of Kiev smoldered under a blood-red dusk. Rubble shifted with each cold gust, and the silence of a dead city pressed heavy on Captain Elias Vance's shoulders. He crouched behind the husk of a burned-out tram, rifle balanced across his knees, watching the patrol. 5 Khar'zul moved with the confidence of predators. Their armor gleamed obsidian, the helmets faceless, shoulders squared in arrogant rhythm. They carried plasma lances that could sear concrete, and their voices clicked in guttural tones. To them, this shattered block was nothing but a cage where frightened humans hid. But Elias wasn't hiding. He touched the comm bead. Positions. Don't fire until I give the word. Around him, shadows shifted. His team, 12 men and women hardened by months of running and striking. They had scavenged what weapons they could, rusted Kalashnikovs, hunting rifles, even a few shotguns. But against alien armor, it had always felt like throwing pebbles at a tank. Plasma had incinerated too many of their people for him to forget the futility. Tonight would be different. He prayed he was right. The Khar'zul patrol halted near the square where the statue of Shevchenko lay split in half. One alien raised a scanning device. Its blue glow swept the rubble. Elias's breath stilled. Any second, the detector would ping, and the patrol would burn the street clean. "Captain," whispered Maya, his second in command, from the upper floor of a collapsed building. Her voice shook slightly. "Are we sure this will work?" "No," Elias muttered. His thumb rested on the safety of his rifle. "But if it doesn't, we won't live long enough to regret it." The alien nearest to him clicked its mandibles. A distorted translation burst through the squad's comm speaker. * primitive nest. I smell fear. * the others chittered laughter, metallic echoes that crawled over Elias's skin. He felt his heart hammer, but his voice remained steady. Now. The night cracked. A single shot tore through the square, a sharp report that echoed like defiance itself. The bullet smashed into the nearest alien's chestplate, and burst out its back in a spray of viscous black fluid. The warrior collapsed, spasming, the armor's perfect shield split like cheap ceramic. The other Khar'zul froze. Then the street roared alive as Elias's team opened fire. Bullets whipped through the air, ripping through the gleaming armor, cutting down 2 more before they even raised their weapons. The survivors screamed, high-pitched and panicked. They fired wildly, plasma bolts hissing through walls, vaporizing stone. One bolt struck the tram shell, bathing Elias in molten sparks. He rolled, lifted his rifle, and sent 3 more rounds through an alien's helm. It toppled, skull shattered. The last one ran. "Don't let it call in reinforcements," Elias barked. Maya's rifle cracked once from her perch. The alien fell mid-stride, sliding across broken pavement until it lay still. Silence fell again. But this time, it was not hopeless silence. Elias lowered his weapon slowly. His chest ached with each breath, but not from fear. This was shock, raw and shaking, at what they had just done. "Holy hell," muttered Rourke, a grizzled miner turned fighter. He kicked the nearest corpse. The alien's armor peeled away where the bullet had punched through. "You see that? We cut him down like they were nothing." "Not nothing," Maya corrected, climbing down from the building with her rifle slung. Her eyes gleamed in the dying light. "But they bleed. They bleed." The team gathered around the bodies, disbelief shifting into exhilaration. Months of terror had taught them the Khar'zul were untouchable, their armor impenetrable, their power absolute. Yet here lay 5 corpses, felled by steel and lead. Elias forced himself to stay steady. He crouched, fingers brushing the cracked plating of one alien's chest. The round had punched through as if the armor were brittle clay. He felt the corners of his mouth twitch, not a smile, but something close. "They told us nothing could pierce this," he said quietly. "Guess they never tested against old-fashioned gunpowder." Maya frowned. "How? Their tech should be beyond us." Elias shook his head. "Doesn't matter. What matters is we just found their weakness." He rose, pulling his comm bead free. "Get the bodies." We need proof. People won't believe us without it. The fighters hurried to drag the corpses toward their hideout. Rourke muttered prayers as he worked, half in awe, half in disbelief. Someone else laughed, a sound rare and wild in the ruined city. But Elias's eyes stayed on the skyline, where alien ships glimmered faintly, patrol lights sweeping. He knew what this meant. Their days of cowering were ending, but so was the luxury of being ignored. Far above, in a command spire that had fused itself into Kiev's tallest tower, Over-Commander Zirak examined a holographic display. Reports scrolled in alien glyphs, and the scent of burning incense filled the chamber. "Another patrol lost," murmured his adjutant. "Armor breached." "Impossible," Zirak snapped. His mandibles flexed in irritation. "Our shell is flawless. Energy shields, alloy layering, resistance to plasma discharge. No prey animal with Stone Age toys could breach it." Yet the evidence was undeniable. 5 warriors gone. And the human resistance, so long a nuisance, was beginning to roar. "Primitive ingenuity," the adjutant suggested carefully. "Perhaps their weapons are not as crude as we thought." Zirak turned his cold gaze on him. "No. They are rats. Rats with sticks. We will burn them out." He clenched a clawed hand, imagining Earth's crust breaking under orbital fire. But orders from the Empire demanded conquest, not annihilation. The planet was valuable. Still, a crack in perfection was dangerous. Not just militarily, but symbolically. The Khar'zul thrived on their aura of invincibility. If humans had found a weakness, "Send more patrols," Zirak ordered. "Double the sweeps. And silence this rumor before it spreads." Back in the underground tunnels of the old metro, Elias stood before a battered projector. The bodies of the fallen Khar'zul lay under canvas sheets, their armor marked with clean bullet holes. His fighters crowded close as the projector flared, broadcasting across jury-rigged comm lines to resistance cells miles away. Elias's face appeared on scattered screens in bunkers, caves, and basements across Eastern Europe. He raised a piece of shattered alien plating, the whole clean and undeniable. "You've been told they're untouchable," he said, voice steady. "That their armor can't be broken. Tonight we proved it's a lie. Their shells crack, their blood spills, and they can die." The room erupted in cheers, fists slamming the walls, voices crying out. Somewhere, someone sobbed in relief. Elias lowered the plating, his expression grave. "This is our chance. They think we're weak. But if we stand together, if we use what we have, we can drive them off our world. Spread the word. Arm yourselves. Fight." The broadcast cut. For a moment, silence reigned in the tunnels. Then the fighters erupted again, louder this time. Maya stepped beside him. "You know what you just did?" "Yes," Elias said, staring at the cracked plating in his hand. "I just gave humanity hope. And hope is the one weapon they'll never see coming." Above them, the alien patrol lights swept the ruins with renewed intensity. The game had changed. Humanity had found the first crack. The morning after their first victory, Kiev smelled of smoke and possibility. Elias moved through shattered streets with his squad, eyes sharp. The ruins were quiet now, but the tension remained, like walking on ice, knowing the crack might come from beneath. Maya led the rear, scanning alleyways with a rifle held loosely in one hand. "Captain," she said, her voice low but firm, "I've counted 10 new patrols in the east. They're looking for survivors." "Let them look," Elias replied, keeping his tone even. "We're not hiding this time. We're moving to strike, and I need everyone focused. No mistakes." The team's excitement was tempered by caution. Their first kill had been miraculous, but luck wasn't a strategy. Rourke trailed a few paces behind, hands gripping his worn rifle. "If they adapt to what we did last night, we're toast," he muttered. Elias didn't answer immediately. He glanced at the rubble-strewn horizon, plotting. "Then we hit them first. Supplies, ammunition, and weapons. That's our next target. The convoy east of the river, They move through narrow streets. We can ambush them. High risk, Maya warned, crouching by a collapsed wall. But high reward. If we succeed, we can arm more cells. Fail and… She didn't finish the sentence, but Elias knew she meant death. We don't fail, he said, with a certainty that felt hollow even to him. By mid-morning, they had taken positions among the wreckage of old factories. The convoy rumbled into view, 3 armored transports, each bristling with Khar'zul weapons. Elias's heart thrummed as he checked his rifle. Every human instinct screamed caution, but every strategy he had honed whispered opportunity. Wait for the signal, he instructed. Rourke wiped sweat from his brow. Signal or bullets? Because I can't tell which comes first. You'll know in a second, Elias said, scanning the convoy. The first vehicle reached the ambush point. Elias pressed the comm bead. Now. Bullets flew. The first transport's armor shivered under the impact, sparks flying as rounds tore through. The Khar'zul shrieked, metal cracking like brittle bone. One dropped off the truck, another staggered sideways, plasma lance flickering uselessly. The second transport tried to veer, but Rourke had predicted the angle perfectly. A volley from his team tore through its side, piercing the armor and sending its occupants screaming to the street. Maya's shot hit the last vehicle's sensor array. Its shields faltered, exposing the occupants to relentless fire. Within moments, all 3 transports were disabled, smoking and silent. The human fighters cheered. It was a controlled chaos, anarchy measured by precision. Elias didn't join the celebration. His gaze swept the horizon. They had struck first, but the Khar'zul would respond with more than patrols next time. We move fast, he said, grabbing the crate of alien plasma rifles scavenged from the transports. Take what we can carry and disappear before reinforcements arrive. The squad split into pairs, hauling weapons, ammunition, and the bodies of downed aliens. Each corpse was proof, evidence that the armor of the perfect invaders could be destroyed. In a narrow alley, Maya caught up to Elias. You can't keep pushing like this, Elias. You're obsessed. It's not just the armor, it's your vengeance. You're putting everyone at risk. He paused, looking down the alley, hearing the distant hum of alien engines. Do you think I don't know? I lost my family to these things. I see their faces every time I close my eyes. This isn't obsession. This is survival. And if we can make them bleed, we can make them fear. Maya shook her head, gripping her rifle tighter. Just don't forget, humans die fast. You can't carry the weight of all of us on your shoulders. I don't carry everyone, he said quietly. Just enough to start the fire. By afternoon, the squad reached a hidden metro tunnel. Elias spread the scavenged weapons across a table, letting the others inspect and handle them. For many, it was the first time they held alien technology in their hand. The rifles were heavy, smooth, and cold, but lethal. Imagine what we could do if more cells had these, Rourke said, eyes gleaming. We could take a block, a city, maybe more. Elias nodded but didn't reply. His mind was on the enemy. Zirac would adapt quickly. The Khar'zul weren't fools. They would analyze, redesign, counter. Humanity had only a narrow window. Captain, intel, said another fighter, pushing a small drone forward. I mapped patrols near the central square. Increased numbers. They're closing in. Elias studied the projection. The lines of alien movement were methodical, efficient, relentless. Then we wait for the right strike, he said. We don't attack blind. We attack with knowledge. And when we strike, we hit where it hurts. Hours passed as the fighters rested, cleaned weapons, and prepared for the next move. Elias wandered through the tunnel, inspecting the maps, checking on each fighter. He stopped at Rourke, who sat sharpening a knife. You think we're ready? Rourke asked. Elias crouched beside him. We're ready to make them bleed again. That's all we need for now. One victory at a time, one crack at a time. Maya approached, her expression unreadable. And the civilians? They'll stay underground, he said. Safe. For now. We can't protect them if we lose focus. Every bullet we fire counts toward buying them another day. As night fell, the metro tunnels buzzed with quiet energy. Fighters whispered plans, checked weaponry, and shared rations. Hope was cautious but alive. The first kill had shown them the path. Now it was time to walk it, step by bloody step. Suddenly, alarms echoed from the east. The Khar'zul were mobilizing, faster than anticipated. Plasma fire lit the distant sky. Elias's squad snapped into position, weapons ready. Maya tapped his shoulder. "They're coming." Elias nodded. "Then we make them regret it. Let them come." The fire in the ruins was no longer just destruction. It was rebellion, a signal to the galaxy that humanity had claws. And for the first time in decades, humans were not waiting to be hunted, they were hunters. He raised his rifle. "Remember what we discovered," he told the team, voice low but cutting through the tension. "Their armor isn't perfect. Their arrogance is their weakness. And tonight we exploit it." The squad's eyes met his. Determination burned brighter than fear. Outside, the first sparks of firefight reflected in shattered windows and puddles of oil and blood. The game had changed, and humanity was ready to play. Above, alien ships adjusted their patrol patterns, unaware that one mistake could ignite a fire far larger than their technology, far beyond their arrogance. Elias exhaled, steadying his grip. "Let them come," he repeated. "We've got the fire now." And deep in the ruins of Kiev, the resistance prepared to strike again. Nightfall came fast over Kiev, and with it, the metallic hum of alien reinforcements. Captain Elias Vance crouched atop the roof of a crumbling tenement, scanning the streets below. Fires from distant skirmishes reflected off shattered glass, painting everything in crimson and orange. The first crack in Khar'zul armor had turned into a spark. Now the flames were spreading. Maya crouched beside him, her rifle resting across her knees. "They've deployed 3 battalions to sweep the east sector," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "Intel suggests they're coordinating with drones from the towers." Elias exhaled. "They've learned. And we can't give them the time to adapt further." He gestured to the squad below, moving through shadowed alleys. "We hit them where it hurts, Central Command. Their hub near the river. It's fortified, but we know the weakness. Ballistics, not plasma. Their arrogance blinds them." Rourke glanced at the sky, tense. "This is suicide, Elias. We can't just walk into the hornet's nest. If they outnumber us 10-1. We won't be outnumbered if we strike fast and smart," Elias interrupted, his voice cold but firm. "We've seen their armor crumble. That's our edge. Take it or die wondering." The squad moved into position, weaving through collapsed street. Civilians peeked from hiding spots, eyes wide with fear and hope. Elias's mind flicked to the faces of those he could no longer save, his family. Each step toward the alien hub was a step toward vengeance and survival. As they approached, the first signs of the hub emerged. Steel spires bristling with antennae, armored doors patrolled by Khar'zul warriors. Drones hovered above, scanning for heat signatures. "Rourke, plant charges on the east gate," Elias whispered. "Maya, you and I take the roof. Cover the squad. Timing is everything." The squad split. Elias and Maya climbed the jagged remains of a skyscraper, weapons ready. The night was tense, every shadow a potential death sentence. From above, they observed alien movement patterns, predictable, rigid, arrogant. "They don't anticipate human cunning," Elias muttered, voice tight. "That's why we survive." Maya nodded, scanning with her scope. "They're walking into our trap. Just need the charges to go off at the right moment." Below, the squad set explosives, moving with precision born of desperation. A misstep would alert the Khar'zul, and the mission would fail before it began. Elias tapped his comm, "Hold positions. On my mark." He peered through the scope as a patrol rounded the corner. Heart hammering, he calculated the timing. Now! Explosions tore through the eastern gate, flames and debris flinging aliens in every direction. Chaos erupted. The Khar'zul scrambled, firing plasma indiscriminately, but the bullets from human rifles cut through the supposedly invincible armor again and again. "Move!" Elias shouted. Through the rubble. "Head for the command spire." The squad surged forward, adrenaline sharpening every sense. Plasma burned walls behind them, sparks raining down, but the humans pressed on. For every fallen comrade, 3 more pressed the attack, propelled by fear and hope alike. Inside the hub, Zirak roared. His mandibles clicked in fury as reports of casualties flooded his displays. "Impossible," he bellowed. "Our armor, they can penetrate it." An adjutant skittered forward. "Captain, they are exploiting the seams. Ballistics, not energy. We must seal the hub and deploy countermeasures immediately." "No," Zirak snarled, eyes narrowing. "We will crush them ourselves." Elias and Maya breached the hub through a collapsed vent, navigating the alien corridors with cautious precision. The air was thick with ozone, debris, and the scent of burned electronics. Every step brought them closer to the heart of the command hub, and to Zirak. They found the bridge, massive and alien, with control panels glowing in cold blue light. Zirak stood there, flanked by guards, a towering figure radiating arrogance. "Humans," he hissed, mandibles flexing. "You think your fragile weapons can harm us? You will die here." Elias stepped forward, rifle raised. "We already killed your men tonight. Your armor isn't perfect. Your empire isn't invincible. And your arrogance will be your undoing." The first shots rang out. Plasma bolts ricocheted, hitting walls as Elias and Maya ducked behind debris. Bullets from their scavenged rifles found gaps in armor again and again, each strike a small defiance against the aliens' belief in superiority. Rourke and the others breached through a side door, engaging guards with precise bursts. The hub erupted into a deadly dance. Fire and metal, alien screams and human shouts. Every corner held danger, every hallway a potential ambush. Elias finally confronted Zirak directly. The alien swung a plasma lance, the energy blade humming with lethal intent. Elias rolled, bullets slamming into the alien's side, piercing seams where the armor was vulnerable. Zirak recoiled, snarling. "How?" "Human ingenuity," Elias said, steadying his rifle for a final shot. "And refusal to be conquered." The weapon discharged. The bullet struck true, tearing through Zirak's chestplate. The alien staggered, clawed hands flailing, then fell to the floor with a thunderous crash. Silence followed, heavy and profound. Around them, surviving aliens fled or surrendered. The command hub was in human hands, a decisive victory that had cost lives but proved a single truth. Humanity could resist, could strike, and could win. Elias stood amid the wreckage, surveying the hub. "We've done it," he murmured, voice hoarse. "We've made them bleed. And that changes everything." Maya joined him, exhaustion etched on her face. "Do you think this ends it?" "No," Elias admitted. "But it starts something. Humans fighting together. This is only the beginning." They contacted the resistance cells. Footage of the hub, of the fallen Zirak, broadcast across hidden networks. Across the cities, in underground shelters and forests, humans watched. Cheers erupted, fists raised, hearts beating with a courage that had been buried for generations. The Khar'zul had come expecting conquest. Instead, they found resistance, ingenuity, and defiance. Humanity had turned weakness into strength, fear into determination, and a single crack in armor into a spark that could ignite the galaxy. Elias lowered his rifle, hands shaking slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of what had been achieved. The fire in the ruins wasn't just destruction now, it was hope. It was rebellion. It was proof that even the most arrogant oppressor could be struck down. Outside, Kiev was quiet again. Fires burned, but the streets were no longer empty. Survivors emerged cautiously, drawn by the light of victory. The first whispers of rebellion were no longer whispers, they were voices rising, unafraid. Elias exhaled slowly, eyes scanning the horizon. "We've won a battle," he said. "But the war is far from over. And the galaxy is watching." And deep in the shadows, among broken spires and crumbled walls, humans smiled for the first time in decades. They were hunters now, no longer prey. And the fire of defiance had just begun.